Hello, greetings, and hi. Thank you for tuning in, and it's great to have you here. Caravans, trailers, and motorhomes have been trending not just since the corona crisis, and naturally, the questions are becoming more frequent. How do I take care of and maintain a motorhome from the outside? In this video, I would like to address a very frequently asked question in this context, namely, how do I get rid of these ugly, dark stains and watermarks? Let's first talk about what we need to remove these rain streaks. And that is a wash bucket. Honestly, a cheap one from the hardware store will do. You need a microfiber wash mitt or a sponge that, in my opinion, is even better suited for this specific application. This here is the SONAX wash sponge. However, there are also alternatives, for example, from Soft. And then we naturally need chemistry and abrasion. I will link a video about the so-called Sinner's Circle up here. This is a fundamental concept from chemistry that states that every cleaning process we encounter in car, or in this case, caravan maintenance, is always based on 4 components: chemistry, abrasion, temperature, and time. Water streaks or watermarks are usually so anchored in the paint that we need both. We need chemistry and abrasion. And now we have different options to work with. One product that I can highly recommend to you is the SONAX Caravan Rain Streak Remover. This is a combination of a cleaner or car shampoo and a mechanical abrasive component, similar to what is found in Polish. This means you have a 2-in-1 product here. If you say you don't necessarily want to get an extra product, an alternative would be the Meguiar Wash Plus. You can also say that you combine a pure cleaner, such as the SONAX Multistar. You can also try using a car shampoo or an alternative APC like the Koch Green Star, the FX Protect All-Purpose Cleaner, or others, and combine a cleaner with a dirt eraser or magic sponge. There are also alternatives from Koch and many other manufacturers. You can also check here on Amazon, as these items are available in bulk. So here you are combining 2 separate things, the cleaner and the abrasive component. And now we will take a look at the Caravan to see how these 2 different variants work. 2001, I start, as you can see, with the simpler variant, namely the one that is already ready. For every chemical, it is important to shake well before use. Then, basically, I would recommend that you always wear gloves when caring for the car and when working with such products. It's simply the safer option. But since there are no safety instructions on it, as you can see, I will make an exception and do without them this time. Then, it also says here on the instructions to roughly pre-clean the car. This can be done with a pressure washer or with a regular car shampoo. And then you go ahead. After shaking it with the damp sponge, please use the soft side here. The rough side here is really only intended for removing insects from windows, because windows are much harder than paint, so you won't necessarily scratch them much. And now I'm just going to take the wash polish, you see. Put it right on the sponge, and then I start to work on it here. Carefully. And you really have to go over it a few times, because these rain streaks usually had a very long time to work their way into the paint. And that's why we can't assume that it will be done with a quick wipe once, but we do need time here, because the SONAX Caravan or the SONAX Caravan Rain Streak Remover combines 2 things, namely chemistry and mechanics. But both are relatively gentle, and that's why we also need the appropriate time to do this. Yes, a very, very, very nice result. So now in the next step, you would rinse here with the high pressure cleaner, spray, rinse. I'm now wiping here with the microfiber cloth. And then, let's take a closer look at the result. So when you consider how it looked before, that's quite a drastic change. Take a look at this area here. This is exactly how everything looked down here before. And we have already improved this significantly, but you can also see, that a few water streaks are still there. That's exactly what I told you. If it has had years to settle in, there is a limit to what we can achieve here. But we will take a look to see if we can improve this with the second option. So for option 2, as mentioned, you need a suitable all-purpose cleaner. I'm now using the SONAX Multistar here. I got this because it is a concentrate. Most all-purpose cleaners are mixed in a ratio of 1:5 here. 1:5 simply means that I add, for example, 100 milliliters of Multistar here and fill it up with 500 milliliters of water. And then I need, as mentioned, a magic sponge, a melamine sponge, also known as a dirt eraser. Basically, it is nothing more than a very fine sandpaper, with which we bring in the mechanical, the abrasive component. So I spray the area I want to work on with the diluted Multistar. And I spray the magic sponge. You can also dip it back into the bucket to ensure it has a basic moisture. That would work just as well. And then, here again, I have to go over this area a few times for it to take effect. Tip: don't press down too hard here. As mentioned, this is a very fine sandpaper, and we don't want to sand down this paint or gel coat too much, which is usually a fiberglass paint structure, and we don't want to stress it too much. That's why, without much pressure, you should glide the magic sponge, the melamine sponge, the dirt eraser for these surfaces. 2001. And here's a tip. These wear down over time as they are subjected to stress. Plan for a whole motorhome that, depending on the initial condition, you may need up to 10 of these things, the worst case. You need to account for material consumption here. All right, then I'll set that aside. Again, you can rinse everything off with the high pressure cleaner now. I would generally recommend that to you as well. I'm doing it here with the microfiber cloth. And now let's indeed take a very close look together at how well this variant has worked. And again here, you had seen how it looked down here before. We were able to remove all of that wonderfully. But again here, you can clearly see up there is a limit to what we can achieve here. But the comparison up here is quite beautiful. This is how it looked before. And we have now achieved a significant improvement. Comparison left-right. I would say we have a slightly better result on the right. But it must be said that we have already stressed the surface with the melamine sponge a little more on the right side. But we have a slightly better result for it. Hold on and stop. This point in the video, I need to say it very clearly and distinctly again. A magic sponge, a melamine sponge, or a dirt eraser is an abrasive tool. I said it is like very fine sandpaper. I have been making these videos long enough to know that I said this before, but many of you overlooked it because you were just so excited about the amazing results we achieved with this tool. I repeat it, and I say it again, it is an abrasive tool, this specific case here. And if you have a caravan, camper, or motorhome where the paint has weathered so much because nothing has been done for over 10 years, you can try this because gentler means will no longer achieve the goal. However, it is my clear recommendation to use the dirt eraser, magic sponge, or melamine sponge only if you plan to polish the surface afterwards, because you will create dull spots here. I mean, it is explicitly stated on the back. I read, "Do not use on paint, as well as on painted or coated plastics." SONAX advises against using it on paint. What I have shown you in this video is a personal tip for extreme cases, and really only for extreme cases where nothing else helps. I want to emphasize this point again. My recommendation is to use this only if you want to polish again afterwards. In car care, it cannot, must not, and should not always be about achieving results as quickly and easily as possible, but the principle must be that we achieve results as gently and softly as possible. And that is why my very first recommendation to you is something like the SONAX Caravan Rain Stripe Remover or Meguiar's Wash Plus. Try that first because it is gentle and will not create a dull finish on the paint. Only if you see that you really need to go further, if you have a paint that hasn't been treated for 10, 15 or 20 years and is so dull that you can, okay, I'll try it with a magic sponge because you know that you will probably have to go over it again with a polishing machine anyway, then you can give it a try. You have now seen how it basically works. What I will do now is look for a few nice spots on this motorhome where we have really strong dirt, and where I will then really compare it to you, our channel. The problem is not at all removing these ugly water streaks from caravans, motorhomes and RVs. The important thing is simply to have realistic expectations here. If these water streaks, as seen in this specific example, have had over 10 years to completely eat into the paint, gel coat and fiberglass, we cannot expect that a simple cleaning will remove them completely. Yes, we have achieved a drastic, significant improvement, but they are still slightly visible. And I can also tell you from my own experience that even with a polish, it will be difficult to get them out. However, one could still try it in the next step. The important thing is, in that sense, to invest a little time in maintenance from the very beginning when you get such a vehicle. Because you have seen what a little time and a little material investment can already achieve here. I hope the video was exciting for you. If it was, please give us a thumbs up, support the channel with a free subscription and tune in for the next video. Goodbye.